Hey everyone, what's up? So the other day on my Instagram, I posted for you guys to ask me your questions and I would answer them on a video. So I got a really great question from B. Alexis, and it's a question that I get all of the time. Here's her question. She says, "Hi, I love your page and your YouTube channel. I'm excited to homeschool my children, but I sometimes have insecurities. For example, am I the best fit to teach my children, being that I am not a certified teacher? I have only taught up to age 5. Any tips?" Wow. Well, yes, I do have a couple of tips I can get you, but first I want to address the mindset that you're not the best person to teach your child. And I've heard this time and time again in homeschool groups and also on videos people do when they quit homeschooling for other reasons and blame it on the fact that they're not qualified enough. But the thing is that if you have, especially with this channel where a majority of us are interacting and dealing with black children, if you have a black child or a Hispanic child or an American Indian child or any child that's in a lower income group, the chances are is that your child is being taught by someone with 1 to 5 years of experience in teaching. Black children are much more likely to have less qualified teachers than white children or children in more affluent areas. And even if your child is in a kind of diverse area, if you're not at a certain income group, you're most likely going to have teachers in that school who are not as experienced. Let me tell you what the process of becoming a teacher is like, and it's different for different people. Instead of the process, let me tell you what the first year is like. For every teacher, the first year is extremely hard. Whether it's a good but hard year or a bad but hard year, you're not at your best. You did not teach those kids like how you were going to teach them once you get 5 or 10 years into it. And for a lot of teachers, like, you got to get those first 5 years under your belt to even feel like you're doing a good job. If you go and take a look at teacher Instagram pages and Facebook pages or blogs, you'll see that a lot of teachers are just simply doubting themselves. Like, I have no idea what I'm doing in here. I feel like I'm an imposter. I'm faking. I'm just smiling at the parents and acting as if I know what I'm talking about, but I really have no idea how to get their child to read. Right? It's a process of becoming a teacher. So the fact that you've never taught before, that you're not certified, that you only know how to deal with, little kids, or maybe on the other end, you've only taught at the college level or something like that, it really doesn't matter, because there's going to be a learning curve for whoever is teaching your child, most likely. So what I would say, in order to kind of just know that, and know that programs like Teach for America or the Baltimore Teacher Program or the KIP Teacher Program and all these other programs that train teachers, literally train teachers for like 45 days, 2 months, a small period of time. And this so-called professional development that they're getting is really just a whole bunch of teachers going into a class that may be called something that sounds like it's good for teachers to learn, but you go in there and everyone's complaining about behavior, complaining about curriculum and Common Core, or complaining about something. So even though the teacher may have all these so-called certifications under their belt, if you would have actually gone to the class, they may have talked about that subject for hopefully half of the time. So just have confidence knowing that you're no worse than other early stage teachers who are going to be teaching your child. And even if your child may have the opportunity to get a teacher with 10 or 20 years of experience, that doesn't compare. That teacher has 20 years of experience teaching and 30 kids. So it all gets divided amongst the kids. You have no years of experience, but you just have 1, maybe 3, 4, 5, 7 kids that you have to teach. And so you're going to be able to learn how to master the art of teaching in a shorter period of time, because you actually have time to do and think about professional development. Now, the tips. First tip would be, whatever curriculum you decide to use, read that curriculum thoroughly. And if you read that curriculum thoroughly and you leave not knowing anything of what they're talking about, then it's probably a bad curriculum. But everything out there today is basically is basically scripted for teachers, and if it's not scripted, they're explaining like in heavy detail what you need to be teaching. So for example, if you have a second grader or a third grader and you have bought a math curriculum, and that's why like some of these homeschool curriculums that a lot of people recommend, I've seen them and they don't have a great teacher's guide. It's just like they're assuming people know these things. The more widely used curricula in schools, in American schools today, have teacher's guides like this thick. Like, here's the student booklet, and then here is the teacher's guide. If you read through that, you will learn like all of the things that these other teachers learn just through time and experience. For example, there are multiple, just one example. When you teach us anything, for example, if you want to teach a child about elephants, there's different levels that you go through. The first level is just like identifying. The child should identify an elephant, be able to look and see. And that's like the bottom level of learning to see something. And then you go up and maybe the child can draw an elephant and maybe can tell you something about it. Right? And then you go up to like the next level, and maybe a child is making a model of the elephant, telling you about their habitat, comparing an elephant to something else, and so on. So basically that's just like a hierarchy of learning. Now, if you're not a teacher, you might not know that. However, if you read the teacher's guide, it will tell you right there that information that I just gave you. Right? It will literally explain what teachers learned in either their teacher prep program or in their undergraduate or graduate classes, exactly what you're supposed to do. Same with math, same with science, social studies, reading. There are books out on these things. And so I would highly suggest just whatever curriculum you're doing, reading that curriculum thoroughly, the teacher's guide thoroughly. I think I have 2 more tips. The next tip is going to be to read books that are about the particular subject that you want to focus on, let's say for the month. Let's say you want to learn how to teach a child how to read. Well, read books by some of these big names in education. You can simply find those people out by Googling them, like reading experts or looking at the curriculum. And if you look up curriculum online, like let's say you look up Horizons, which is a pretty popular curriculum in public schools, or you just type in Google like school curriculum and you look at McGraw-Hill or Pearson, you know, the big names in textbooks. Pick up a textbook, whoever it's published by, Google that name, look inside the book, and you'll see all these experts who have been consulted on the book. Look up those people and you can find books that they've read or materials or research that they've done, and those books will basically tell you everything you need to know. So I've mentioned like Reading in the Wild before, and what's the other one? I can't remember, but I think I don't remember who it's by. I'll drop it in the description box. But there are basically people that teachers go to in order to learn how to teach better. And even easier, just go to Barnes & Noble, go in the teaching resource section, and you'll see all those big names right there. The last tip I would say is that there are tons of professional development opportunities for teachers online that are free, and you should take advantage of those. If you want to learn how to teach math, I highly suggest taking advantage of the professional development offered by Eureka Math or greatminds.org. It's literally just free webinars. You can even talk back and forth with people. You don't necessarily have to be a certified teacher, but you're speaking with experts. And the reason that they're doing this for free is because they want people to use their curriculum. So you take all your questions for them. Hey, it can be like, hey, how do I teach a kid how to divide? And they will host a webinar on that. It can be like, how do I start looking through this curriculum? And I'm pretty sure they have a topic on that. So if you go to greatminds.org and sign up for their like updates or notifications, something like this, then they will send you links to register for professional development. And the more you kind of get into it, let's say you choose a science curriculum, that's not one of these online things, but like I don't want to call them illegitimate, but like an established science curriculum from one of the big name companies, you'll see that they just have tons of professional development, and there are even conferences that you can go to for free or cheap and learn more about the art of education and the art of teaching. So in conclusion, do not doubt yourself, because all these other early career teachers are doing the same thing. Shoot, even teachers who have taught for 10 years. Some people, like, I'll go into a new school and they'll be like, yeah, I have 12 years of experience. And then I'll walk into their classroom and I'm like, what have you been doing for these past 12 years? You don't know how to do this or that. So don't let other people try to drag you down telling you, oh, you can't teach because you're not a teacher. You don't know how to teach. Like, nobody does. It's all self-taught practically today in these classrooms. They're not learning anything in university that makes them like any smarter than you or any more qualified to teach. So go ahead and do that. We have a phrase in teaching called fake it till you make it. So you go ahead and you fake it till you make it, and eventually you'll be there. That phrase doesn't work for everything, but in teaching, it definitely does. We also have another thing that we say is beg, borrow, and steal. So if you see someone doing something online, go ahead and do that same thing, and it will probably work out. Now, don't stay there, because that's where those teachers who have been teaching a long time, like they're like, I've been teaching for 12, 15 years. They've just kind of been trying to hang on for 12 and 15 years. Don't do that. Definitely seek out opportunities for reading and professional development. And probably in a year or two, you'll feel like an expert. So thanks for watching this video. If you'd like to comment, just hit me up on Instagram. Maybe go to my new page, Akiba Mays with comments. And I'll see you later. Bye-bye.